The moonlight filtered through the dense trees, casting long shadows on the ground. In the village of Nyundo, located in the remote hills of Rwanda, a man named Kazi woke up to a feeling he couldn't shake. Something was wrong. The memories of the 1994 genocide still haunted him, but it wasn't just the images of slaughtered bodies that kept him awake tonight. It was the sound of whispers he heard, the same ones he had avoided for years. The Gacaca courts had been the supposed remedy, a chance to heal old wounds and reconcile a broken nation. But for Kazi, it had only dredged up memories of betrayal, violence, and the ghosts of those he lost. He had participated in the courts as a witness, but never as a judge, never as one seeking justice, only as a man trying to stay out of the line of fire. But that night, something pushed him. A voice whispered his name, an urgent plea for truth. Months earlier, the Gacaca courts had convened in the small town, their purpose clear: to seek justice for the victims and bring accountability to the perpetrators of the horrific crimes during the genocide. Kazi had watched the trials with mixed feelings, unsure if the court was truly serving justice or just bandaging the gaping wound in the nation's heart. One particular trial had left him uneasy, the trial of his old friend Jacques. Jacques was accused of killing Kazi's own family, a brutal act of vengeance that had left Kazi with nothing but an insatiable need to know why. Jacques had been quiet, remorseful even, during the trial, but there had been something in his eyes that unsettled Kazi. "You betrayed me, Jacques," Kazi whispered to himself as he lay on his bed, the sound of the night air flowing through the window. But just as he was about to drift off, the thought struck him. What if Jacques hadn't been guilty? What if everything he thought he knew was wrong? Kazi stood in front of his old friend's house, the door creaking as he knocked. Jacques opened the door slowly, his face hardened by years of regret. "Come in," Jacques said, his voice a mixture of surprise and suspicion. He hadn't seen Kazi in years, not since the trial. Kazi stepped inside, his eyes scanning the room. The walls, once adorned with family pictures, were now bare. A coldness had taken over. "I couldn't sleep," Kazi said, his voice trembling. "I need to know the truth. What happened that night?" Jacques looked away as though searching for the right words. "The truth? The truth is, I didn't kill your family, Kazi, but you're not going to believe me." Kazi's heart raced. "What do you mean?" Jacques took a deep breath, his eyes meeting Kazi's for the first time that night. "It was someone else, someone who used my name, someone who wanted to see you suffer." Kazi froze. "Who?" Jacques hesitated, then spoke in a low whisper. "It was your brother." Kazi recoiled as if struck by a physical blow. "My brother? He died in the violence. I saw it with my own eyes." "I know," Jacques replied, his voice soft. "But he didn't die that night. He was working with the Interahamwe. He wanted revenge for what happened to our family. He knew I had a past with you, and he used that to frame me. He set me up. He killed your family and made sure I was blamed." Kazi's mind reeled. "No, it can't be true." "But it is," Jacques insisted. "You need to find the truth, Kazi, before it's too late. Your brother, he's alive, and he's not done." Kazi's heart pounded as he drove through the winding roads of Nyundo, the night air cold against his face. His mind was clouded with 1,000 questions, but there was one thing he knew for sure. His brother was alive. He had to find him. He had to stop him. He arrived at the old family home, the one that had once been filled with laughter and love. Now it was just a shell, a haunting reminder of what had been lost. He stepped inside cautiously, the wooden floorboards creaking beneath his feet. Suddenly he heard a voice from the darkness. "I knew you'd come, Kazi." It was his brother standing in the doorway, a sinister smile on his face. "You shouldn't have come," Kazi's brother said, his eyes cold and calculating. "Now you'll see the price of betrayal." Kazi's breath caught in his throat. "You've been lying to me, using me." His brother stepped forward, his hand reaching for a hidden weapon. But Kazi was faster. He grabbed a nearby chair and swung it, knocking the weapon from his brother's hand. "Why, Thabiti? Why did you do it?" Thabiti's face twisted with hatred. "Because I wanted power, Kazi. I wanted everything that was taken from us. The world doesn't care about us, Kazi. We had to take what we wanted, no matter who we had to destroy." The two brothers faced each other, their breaths heavy in the stillness of the night. Kazi knew what he had to do. He had to end it. For his family, for the victims, for the country that had been torn apart by hate and violence. With a swift movement, Kazi lunged forward and tackled Thabiti to the ground. The two struggled, the weight of years of betrayal, violence, and loss crashing down on them both. Finally, with one last desperate push, Kazi pinned his brother to the ground. He was breathing hard, but his voice was steady when he spoke. "I forgive you, Thabiti. I don't know if that will change anything, but I forgive you." Thabiti's eyes widened. For a moment, there was a flicker of regret in them, but it quickly vanished, replaced by coldness. "You think forgiveness changes anything?" For the first time, Kazi wasn't sure. But in that moment, as the dawn began to break, he knew that he had to walk away from the past. Rwanda had to heal, and so did he. Weeks later, Kazi sat quietly by the river, the peaceful sound of flowing water surrounding him. His brother had been taken into custody, his fate now in the hands of the law. Kazi knew the nation still had a long road ahead, but in that moment, for the first time in years, he felt a sense of peace. The Gacaca courts had not been perfect. They had not healed all wounds, but they had given the people of Rwanda a chance to confront their past, to face the truth, and to begin rebuilding what had been destroyed. And for Kazi, that was the only way forward. Not just for him, but for the nation that had lost so much. Like and subscribe for more stories of survival, redemption, and healing in the aftermath of Rwanda's darkest chapter.